And happy Thursday evening, everyone. Have to say it has been quite an interesting day. Let's see. First, we find out about Ray Liotta, which was some sad news. Then, of course,
Okay, I haven't been online. What happened?
he passed away last night.
Oh
And then, of course, we have the new trailer, or the teaser trailer for Willow, which I think a lot of people are excited about, me being one of them. I think I'm actually more thrilled about Willow coming out than Kenobi, but that's just me.
so are you saying that if I watch this, I might actually subscribe to Disney? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, the trailer. Have you watched the first movie?
Well, yeah. Hello, I am 50 in a few days.
Well, I mean, you have him coming back as Willow, so
Oh, he is? That's awesome.
yes. I mean,
Well, it wouldn't be Willow without him. So, I mean,
yeah. I mean, you got to think about it. That was his name.
that'd be like doing Harry Potter without Harry Potter. It just wouldn't work.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So, like I said, hey, Julie. And let's see. I know we have several conventions coming up. Collecticon up in Fort Worth, MobiCon in Mobile, Alabama, and I don't think there's what else is. It's Memorial Day weekend, so there is a lot going on. It would normally be Comic Palooza, but of course they changed their dates.
And we all know how we feel about that one.
Yes,
But I know it wasn't Black Hills in South Dakota at the beginning of June, and then you have what is it, Kamea, Hawaii, or something like that, 4th of June. I probably just slaughtered it.
probably. But that is the beginning of June also, and that is in Conroe, and that's Conroe's first anime convention.
Hmm.
So
And
I
then
will actually be media there.
the Freedom Fest that is a Comic-Con is at the end
Chaotic
of
Freedom
June.
Celebration is
Yes.
at the end of the June. And Mr. Peters, I believe, is going to be there, who's
Are
our
you, sir?
guest today.
Yay!
Yeah. Yes. Should be
Awesome.
exciting.
So
It sounds like fun. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely. Are we ready to talk some animation here?
one of my favorites is Animaniac. What are we gonna do today, Pinky? We're gonna take over the world.
Yeah.
I like Pinky and the Brain.
The old familiar catchphrase.
Hmm.
So I have to ask, how did you get involved with all that?
Well, I was over at Disney's on Timon and Pumbaa, and that show actually ran into some trouble. So they're gonna have to lay everybody off for about 3 months while they fix the problem. And it would have been bad for me if I had gotten laid off during that time. So I actually called a friend of mine over at Warner's, and he was leaving to go to Marvel. So basically, he was like, "Well, if you want to come over here and take my place, I'll tell the producers and directors about you." So I agreed to it, and an hour later, I got a call from Liz Holzman, and she was like, "Well, Daryl just told us all about you, and we're really excited, and we want to meet you. So can you come up
Nice.
here like in an hour and meet with us?" And I was at Disney. I had actually brought my portfolio in, because this was the next day after we had that meeting. So I brought my portfolio into Disney. So I had my portfolio with me, and yeah, I was able to kind of sneak off the Disney lot and go over to Warner's. Um, and I met with them. I met with Liz. I met with Rusty Mills, and I think Al Ziegler. I think they were the three that were there. Um, so when I got over there, they were like, "Well, the reason why he's leaving is because Animaniacs just ended, and we don't have any work. So, but we're going to hire you anyway. We're going to pay you $1,400 a week to sit here and do nothing."
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Sign me
So,
up. Where's that? Where do you do
yeah.
that?
Where do you fill out the application?
For real.
Yeah. That wouldn't happen now, but back then it did, and so the reason is they didn't want me running back to Disney because they had heard about what was going on, and yeah, they didn't want me to go back as soon as the problem was fixed. So yeah, so they told me like go shopping in the Sherman Oaks Galleria, do anything you want, just don't go running back to Disney, and then like because we know within the next 4.5 months to 6 months, we're gonna have a pickup. We're gonna start Pinky and the Brain the series, and we don't want to lose you. So that's basically their reasoning.
Very.
So yeah, I agreed to it,
Very cool.
and about 4.5 months later, it did start. I actually got kind of tired of hanging out in the Sherman Oaks Galleria. So I actually called a friend of mine who was doing a comic book work for Hanna-Barbera on Wacky Races.
Mhm.
And what was the other one? I think Jetsons. I think the Jetsons were the other one. But he gave me all the Wacky Race stuff. So I would take that into Warner's, work on it. And yeah, so that pretty much occupied my time until Pinky and the Brain started.
So
Then it did start, and then everything was fine.
So when you start a series, do you already know what the character is going to look like, or do they give you what they want it to look like? How does that work?
Yeah, I already knew what they looked like. I'm trying to think. When we started this series, I think we just jumped right into production. I can't really remember, but yeah, all the models had already been designed, and I think they gave me a script. And normally, what they do is they give you a script and the dialogue tape, and then they just tell you to start designing. So yeah. So
Now,
roughs probably took about 2 weeks to do all the roughs for a show, and then there would be cleanup. Cleanup was usually about another week, I think. I'm trying to remember. It's getting confusing, but yeah, I think that was it.
so it takes about 3 or 4 weeks to get one show completed.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
Now, obviously, that's different than comic book designing because that's like one single picture. When you're doing animated, you have to like take every. How do you do that? Because that's a lot of movement for one character. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All the movement was pretty much planned out in storyboards,
Hmm.
and then they would ship it over to rough draft, and they would actually work off the storyboards to complete the animation. So they would put in the drawings between what the storyboard artist had already drawn.
Hmm.
So they're basically in between the storyboard panels.
So
Um,
So we've already jumped to Pinky and the Brain and the Animaniacs, but how about way back when? How did you get started to bringing yourself forward? Because you didn't just jump right into Pinky and the Brain.
No,
How did you start into this?
I went to Cal Arts. So yeah, California Institute of the Arts. Yeah.
Hmm.
I got out in 1990, and I was hired by Hanna-Barbera to do character designs,
Hmm.
and they were actually pretty busy that year. They had like 7 different shows going.
Wow.
So yeah, so yeah, this is the most shows that we've had in a really long time. So they were like, well, here's the 7 shows that we have. Pick one. And there's a picture of Yogi Bear on the wall with a
Oh
bunch
yeah.
of with a bunch of different other characters, and
Hmm.
they're in like racing cars. And when I saw that picture, I pointed to that one and said, "Yeah, that's the one I want to work on right there."
I actually loved that cartoon. I do remember that cartoon.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it was on in the
I do.
morning.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Saturday morning cartoons. I miss those.
yeah,
1990, I was in the Navy, but yeah, I do remember the Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh, honey, that was a lot earlier than 1990. So
Oh, trust me, I know. I was there.
yeah.
I know we're the same age, so I get it.
So yeah, that was the first show, and then I worked on a little bit of Pup Scooby Doo,
Oh, Scooby Doo.
some other shows, and then they put me in animation.
Hmm.
So, 'cause fortunately, they were. It was after the Jetsons movie had been done, and they were some of the animators were still left in the studio. So they were actually able to animate on TV stuff. The reason is for that they didn't want to lose these animators because they knew they had another feature coming up, which turned out to be Once Upon a Forest, which
Yeah, that one I don't know.
yeah, it's pretty rare. A lot of people probably don't know that. It didn't do very well. But anyway, that was the reason why they had in-house animation still,
Hmm.
and I was able to jump in there, worked on a bunch of TV stuff. Um,
So when you say character design, what does that mean? Does that mean that they've made like a claymation version and they want you to cartoon it, or how does that work?
Character design.
Yeah.
What they do is, yeah, they basically they give you dialogue tape and a script, and there's a description of the character in there, like an extra character or whatever, or if Pinky and Brain were wearing a special suit or
Hmm.
costume. That's also part of doing character design is to draw them in that costume.
Okay.
But everything's in the script. And what I would do is I would take the script and I would listen to the dialogue tape and try to draw a character that I could imagine that voice coming out of.
Oh, so
So
you got to literally create the character itself for some of
yeah,
these.
yeah, they're
That's cool.
episodical. Yeah, yeah,
That's a lot of power.
Yeah,
a
and
lot of fun.
I'm just saying that's pretty cool though.
Yeah,
and you got to figure with the animation, you also have to deal, like you just said, you listen to the people talking, but you got to get their mouths moving at the same time
Mhm.
as they're speaking. Now, are you the one in charge of basically like saying how many times their mouth moves, or how does that work?
no, that's I think that's sheet timing. What happens is everything's on X sheets, exposure sheets.
Mhm.
All the dialogue is it's broken down phonetically, and each line on the X sheet represents a frame of film. So if the letter
Okay.
A was held for, if the character said the letter A and it took like 4 frames to um, for that sound, it's all marked down on the X sheet, so the animator would know that they have to hold the A or draw the A shape mouth for 4 frames, and then yeah, but it's
That's kind of
all
cool. There seems to be like a lot of different things pulling together to create one
yeah.
cartoon.
It's a pretty pretty complicated process, and it's pretty intricate. But yeah, everything's broken down into different sections and positions and all that. Yeah. Um, Also, they'll on the left hand side they usually put like a rough thumbnail drawing of what the
Hmm.
character's doing. Not always, but yeah, sometimes. All the camera moves are there. Yeah, pretty much everything is on the X sheet. So yeah,
See, and that's really
kind of a roadmap.
that's really cool because we've had the voice actors on, and now we've kind of got the other side of the story where
Hmm.
we have the animated versus the voice acting. And I thought it was the other. I thought that they would already have it animated, but you're telling me no, it's the opposite way. So they do the voices, and then you guys animate it. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, you do you record the voice first, and then they yeah animate it.
Now the only thing is would be different is if, what CJ was referring to also is if it's voice over
Yeah.
acting, because it's like when you have yeah, the animes,
Hmm.
it's from Japan, so they have to just fill in the words. So that's a little bit different. I think that's what you're also referring to.
I was kind of also referring to the Peanuts with Melanie Cohn and
Yeah,
Linda. Can't remember Linda's last name. Sorry,
Patricia
Linda.
Katz, Charles Duncan, or Duncan,
The Snoopy crew. We'll just put the
the
Snoopy crew.
Peanuts,
The Peanuts
Charlie
gang.
Brown.
Yeah, the Peanuts gang, and how she was saying how she had to do it, and I couldn't imagine a child trying to follow those lines because she said she started at like 8 or 9, was it? If I remember
Mhm.
correctly.
I think she was 10 to 13 for Charlie Brown.
Okay. So I was trying to imagine that, but the way he's saying it makes a lot more sense because
Mhm.
if the voices are already there and then they can animate it to it, then especially the children don't have to match it up correctly.
Mm, true. Now, the other thing that I had a
Yeah.
question for you was, is you said that they keep a lot of animators there when they come up with movies and stuff like, or new content. Is it several different animators working on one project, or is it just like, would you be in charge of one show, or do you split it up in segments to help it go a little bit quicker?
Yeah, that yeah, and it's broken up into scenes, so they'll give a they'll assign specific scenes to specific animators. Yeah. I wish I actually had the opportunity to do more animation, but
Mhm.
just the way it went. I mean, I most of my experience is character design and storyboarding, mostly character design. um, but yeah, at least at Hanna Barbera, they were animating parts of shows
Hmm.
still at the main studio. um, so I got like they used to give me like 5 or 6 different scenes at a time. Um, I know they had a production quota. It was like 100 feet a week. Luckily, I didn't have to do that much because I was kind of a in-house freelance.
Hmm.
So, but I think my footage quota was probably around like 75 a week.
So I
Oh,
can't.
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
trying to imagine the consistency between the different artists. If like this artist gets this scene, this artist gets that scene. Is there? I can't imagine the level of difficulty for them to make sure that they are consistent within their characters within the scene, so it all flows together.
yeah. Um, Yeah, they gotta follow the model sheets.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so that we all know what the character looks like. Um, and then I think I think they gave us layout drawings also, which is a step above storyboarding.
Hmm.
So you know where to position the characters, all that stuff. It was all there for you.
So it kind of
Um,
goes in different phases as it goes up, and
it's, yeah, that's basically it. Um, we all get the same model sheets. We all know what the character looks like.
mhm.
So yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's how you do it. So yeah,
Now I'm
there's
curious
subtle
about.
differences between the different what?
I'm
Yeah,
also
there's
curious about
subtle
the
differences
storyboarding
Wait, what
because
do you? The
about
subtle
what?
differences between what?
I'm curious about the storyboarding itself because you were saying that like they have scenes with the storyboards, and so do you like start from this scene and then you end on that scene in a storyboard with the animation
Pretty much.
and then it goes on from there?
Yeah, it goes on from there. Yeah. Um,
Okay.
I'm not sure how much animation they've kept in house, but I know a lot of it was still being shipped overseas. So yeah, feature animation's different. It was done here. It's usually done here.
Hmm.
Um, I didn't do that much feature animation. I did some of it, some, but not a whole lot. So yeah, I'd have liked to.
Now you've also done storyboarding itself. How what projects have you worked on with storyboarding so people can know about that?
Yeah, Pop Called Scooby Doo. Trying to think. Storyboarding. Mickey Mouse. We made new Mickey Mouse cartoons for Disney.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Is it Mickey
Mickey's.
Mouse House?
Yeah. It was like Mickey's Mouse Works
Hmm.
and House of Mouse.
Hmm.
Yeah. It was the same show except they changed the title of it. And when they changed the title, they added pretty much every Disney character there is. Um, because what they did, they put them in like a bar setting, so
Gotcha.
everybody's in that bar. But
Mhm.
yeah, I storyboarded on that stuff too.
That sounds like a consistency nightmare right there.
Yeah, pretty much. The first week we were there, that's all they had us do was draw Mickey Mouse for
Hmm.
a week.
Oh
So
God.
yeah, they really
So
wanted
you
us to
and Mickey
know
are
that.
like this. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they really wanted us to know how to draw him.
Hmm.
Um, Mickey's actually kind of a character that, like, if his ears are too far apart or some line and one line is off, it doesn't look like Mickey Mouse anymore. So there's something about him
Hmm.
um, that is that way. So they had to make sure that we all knew how to draw him exact and make sure the ears are in the right place and spaced far enough apart and yeah, all that stuff.
Hmm.
So it was pretty interesting. And then I know I did other storyboard stuff. I think Dennis the Menace.
I like Dennis the Menace.
Yeah, I think that was another one.
So
But
you were the
yeah,
brainchild behind my favorite cartoons growing up. Is that what you're telling me?
the what?
You're the brainchild behind a lot of my favorite cartoons. Is that what you're telling me?
Kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah, sort of. Pretty much anything that was made in the '90s, I got something to do with. After
Very
that, it
cool.
gets a little bit more erratic, but yeah.
Now, did you ever get to sneak, or did you ever sneak any Easter eggs into any of the stuff that you ever did?
No, no, I didn't do
No.
that. Not that I remember. I've
Not
heard
on
of that.
purpose,
I've heard
anyway.
of that stuff being done, but yeah.
So, what are you
Um,
doing now? Because you mentioned the 90s. So, what are you doing now?
no, I'm still animation work. Um, I do a lot of illustrating,
Hmm.
and pretty much work for myself. Um, do a lot of do a lot of illustrating, different companies. So yeah,
So, it's kind of a freelance thing.
yeah, pretty much.
So, if somebody wants to get a hold of you to either do do you do commissions and stuff like that?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so if somebody wants to get a hold of you to do commissions or to, potentially hire you for something, how do they get a hold of you?
Okay. Just pretty much go to my Facebook page, or and then message me. I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, yeah. That's probably the best way.
And it's
So
pretty
yeah.
easy to find because I found it pretty easily. And then when you get there, there's
Yeah.
Animaniacs, there's Pinky and the Brain pictures in there, so you can't miss it.
So,
Yeah.
what conventions are you going to be coming up to? I know, like I said, Chaotic Freedom Celebration on June 25th and 26th, but what other conventions are you coming to or going to?
Um, I have Cowtown,
Okay, that's a pretty good
and
size one.
yeah. Um, Bell County Comic Con. That's
Hmm.
pretty local, but it's huge. It's big, and it's good. So yeah. I really like that Comic Con a lot.
Good. And that's in August, right?
And yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the beginning of August.
Mhm.
There's a ton of Comic Cons in August.
I know, it's almost painful.
Yeah.
Um,
I just did Milwaukee Gaming Convention,
Okay.
which was good. Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago. Yeah,
oh,
about three
nice.
weeks.
So
But it
you're
was
more than
good.
just Texas, you're kind of out there.
Yeah, yeah, Chicago and Salt Lake City and Los
Oh, wow.
Angeles. Yeah,
Well,
so
But
yeah,
being that you studied in
to
California, you
do.
probably have a lot of connections in there.
Yeah, um, I saw a couple of people that I knew. So yeah,
well, I know I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you at a Chaotic Freedom Celebration. That is just so hard to say.
Chaotic Freedom
yeah,
Celebration, which is a Comic-Con for those watching.
Yes, yes, and it is in Lake Jackson, and it's their first one.
And it sounds like it's going to be super fun. I would go, but I'm on crutches still for another few weeks, so I probably won't make that one. But make
I'll
sure
be
that
there.
you go because Greg will be there, and it sounds
Both
like
of
Mr.
us.
Peters will be there.
Both of
And
us.
yeah,
and I've seen
yeah,
a
both
lot.
of
Hi,
us.
mommy. I've seen a lot of different, people that are going to be there, and it sounds like it's going to be a blast.
when when you go to the conventions, do you look forward to meeting any of the guests, or do you try to just stay at your table?
Yeah, I pretty much just stay at my table. So yeah, but I'm always busy. So
Well, I mean, come on, Pinky and the Brain. That alone.
yeah,
But you're adding
yeah,
Animaniacs to it, so of course you're going to be busy. I'm just saying. And then Hanna-Barbera's Racers. I'm just saying.
And then, of
yeah,
course, the panels and anything like that.
yeah.
Are you doing
Panels,
any
yeah.
panels?
Are you doing any panels at any of the
Um,
conventions?
yeah, the one in Lubbock. Yeah, yeah. I'm doing a. No, actually, no, I'm not. I'm not. I did a panel from Milwaukee.
Hmm.
It was cool. It was. Yeah. was me. It was Fowler Barnhart, and what was his name? One other guy.
I think panels
Yeah,
are fun.
kinda,
They let those people who admire your work kind of bring you down to a level that they can understand, and they can see you as a person, and I always like doing those.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I hear the echo.
I heard that too. That wasn't me.
So, I mean, like at Disney, did you say you work with Pixar, or is that set one in the same? I know Hanna-Barbera. Who all have you worked with?
Yeah, Hanna-Barbera started Amblin.
Mhm.
It
That's a
was
big one
Amblin,
too.
then I went, yeah, that's Family Dog.
Hmm.
Then I went back to Hanna-Barbera. After that was Hyperion. I think Hyperion. Hyperion was a smaller studio made up of animators from Disney, but it's
Hmm.
we were making a TV show. So actually, Itsy Bitsy Spider was a
I don't know
animated
that
show
show.
out of that.
Huh.
Doing
Um,
that. Look at the storyboards on that. I think. Klasky Shupo, the Sega came after
Okay.
that. Yeah, it was at Sega for about a year and a half. Did animation and development,
Hmm.
and Disney,
mhm.
uh, Lion King, Timon and Pumbaa,
Hmm.
um, then Warner Brothers, um, Sony, Columbia TriStar. It's the same studio. Um, I worked on
So
Gilbert.
you've been around.
Yeah. Then I went back to Disney, and then yeah.
So did the
um,
school help you get your first job, or how did that work?
oh, Cal Arts, yeah. Because what Cal Arts does is they have a producer show at the end of the year.
Uh-huh.
All the senior students show their films, and that's when a lot of people like Steven Spielberg and Jeffrey Katzenberg and all these people go there. Um,
Nice.
the head of the model department for Hanna Barbera,
Hmm.
he was there, and yeah, a lot of people go there to hire off the producer show.
So those who
So
are
yeah,
interested in animation go to Cal Art.
yeah,
Just saying.
Well, I know.
yeah.
Do you work with any of the computer animation nowadays, or do you do the stills?
No, not really. No, yeah.
So you don't do the
Pretty much,
computer animation, but
pretty
you
much.
do
I
the
mean,
stills?
well, when I animate, I don't draw on paper anymore. That's the biggest difference.
Okay.
Is I'm actually animating on a computer screen on
Okay.
a Cintiq tablet. Yeah, with mostly Toon Boom.
Hmm.
So that's
Mommy
an
wants
animation program.
Mommy wants to know what are your favorites?
What are my favorites?
Hmm.
My personal favorites are I'm really into old Hanna Barbera,
Hmm.
Flintstones, Jetsons, Scooby Doo, Yogi, all that stuff.
Oh, my childhood.
Pinky and the Brain. Yeah, yeah. A lot of that early Hanna Barbera stuff. Then I'll get into like Pinky and the Brain and Animaniacs.
Mhm.
I like them just
Those are
because they're so the
favorites.
Animaniacs, just because they're
Um,
so zany. They're just crazy.
yeah, yeah,
I was always a
yeah,
Ruby Roo fan.
I'm more Pinky in the Brain though.
yeah,
Ruby Roo?
yeah. Actually, I made more Pinky and the Brain episodes than Animaniacs, but it's just the way it worked out when I got over there. So
Well, that's very cool. It's nice to hear about the other side of the story. To kind of.
Later on. The what?
It's nice to hear like the other side of the story. Kind of like we've had the voice actors, so it's kind of
Oh
neat to
yeah,
hear the other side
Mm-hmm.
and how that all comes together. Because that's a lot.
That would actually
yeah.
be
It
fun to
is a lot.
have like Mr. Peters and some voice actors in the same room and then working maybe something together. That would be fun.
That would be.
See, all these ideas I come up
Yeah.
with. Of course, it would take some time,
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's
that would
true.
definitely be fun. So, like I said, you have
Yeah,
Chaotic Freedom Celebration.
Hmm.
You just had, I forget the
Milwaukee, he said.
Milwaukee,
Hmm.
and you're going to Bell County and Cowtown.
Yep.
And that's in Hearst, if I recall. And that's going to be in October, isn't it? Or is it November? It's October. It's the second weekend in October, if I recall.
So when you go to the things, are you selling like your autograph on some of like the different art that you've participated in, like Pinky and the Brain and the Animaniacs and the Hanna-Barbera stuff?
the what?
I said when you go to the
The narrative.
shows,
Did she freeze on us? I think she.
me?
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
I said when you go to the shows, is it like your autograph on some of the art that you've done, like with the Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain? Is that what you're doing with it?
Yeah, yeah. Usually, yeah, I'll sign that stuff. Um, I'll sign it then and there for whoever buys it. So yeah,
Very cool.
but I always have originals and I always have prints. Um, but yeah, then I'll hand sign them, and then people like that.
How long does it take you to draw one? I'm just curious on that. Like for the
The
Animaniacs or
print
Pinky and the
or
Brain. Yeah, the print. How long does it take you to draw a quick print or sketch?
yeah, most of the prints that I do usually take about 5 or 6 hours.
Oh wow.
They're all full colored, pretty detailed. Um, yeah, usually about 5 or 6 hours, and then yeah, it's usually about
I'll
that.
bet you can't guess which one I would go for.
Pinky and the Brain.
Good guess.
Yeah,
Oh, come on. He's so cool.
of course.
And he's brilliant. I mean, his name is Brain. I mean, come on.
Ah,
Greg, what's yours?
mine's always been Scooby Doo.
Yeah,
I mean, I grew up with Scooby Doo, and of course Yogi. I have to say Yogi, and the Flintstones. Oh hell, why not? Why not
Jetsons.
just give my age? The Jetsons.
Meet George Jetson.
yeah, yeah. All this stuff
But
is great.
Yeah. And I like the racers. That was cool.
Yeah, like
There's
the
that one
races.
character that I really did not like. The evil
Who's
guy that
that?
was the one that played Dirty. I didn't like him.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of
I
his
can't
name.
remember his name, but he always played Dirty, and I'm just like,
play duty.
mm-hmm.
Dick
Oh,
Dastardly.
Huh?
Dick Dastardly.
Yes, that's it.
yes, Dastardly.
Yeah.
Yes, I did not like him. I don't like people that don't play fair.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I liked him. He was actually in that show that I worked on when I started over there.
mhm.
Mm.
It was Yogi Bear and Huckleberry Hound and Crooked McGraw.
Oh my gosh, you're taking me back to my childhood.
Yeah, yeah,
I
all those
forgot
old
about
characters
them.
were in there. So yeah,
Now, Now, if you say Rocky and Bullwinkle,
Yes, I like them too.
Yeah, Rocky and
And
Bullwinkle.
Natasha?
Yeah, that's Jay Ward. Yeah, I liked it. I liked it. I would watch
I
it.
remember all those
I didn't like it as much as
cartoons. Oh.
the Hanna-Barbera stuff.
of
Now,
course, I
did you get
also
to work with like Bugs Bunny and that crew with Warner Brothers at all?
I Baby Looney Tunes.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
did
like
some
the Baby Looney
storyboard
Tunes.
stuff on that.
Very cool.
Yeah, yeah, it was Baby Looney Tunes. It was all right,
Oh, come on, they were cute.
but
now if
yeah,
you were
but
to
not as great as Pinky and the Brain. So yeah,
True. Yes.
now,
Yes.
now if you would have said Space Jam, I just probably would have fallen out.
Oh, Space Jam.
oh, Space
That
Jam.
would
Yeah,
that'd be wild. I'm kind of wondering how that works with the animation and the real people.
how they combine it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's done well. I think they take stills,
Hmm.
so they know where all the live action what live action characters are, and then I'm not too sure how that's done, but I know that they probably work on. They probably take the live action footage, give you positions of the live action actor,
Hmm.
and then so you're not going to put a character over the actor, or so you know where everything is. So yeah,
I'm learning a lot tonight. I'm liking this.
So, so I would almost probably say probably with the green screen.
Maybe a little bit the characters, the real people with a little bit of a green. No, I wouldn't think so.
It can be
Maybe.
done either way.
Yeah. Huh. I don't know. That just it's wild. Just when I think about it, getting like I said, pulling all the elements together for a cartoon, I think would be big enough. But when you're mixing live with cartoon, that
yeah,
that's a lot.
yeah. That would yeah. I did work on Cool World, um, so I know that we got like blow ups of the live action frames.
Okay.
Um,
Hmm.
so you would know where the animation would go. Um, and then after that, I guess it's optically combined. But yeah, I do know that we had like photographs to work from. So yeah.
That's cool. So
That would
it's
be
Otherwise,
almost
you'd
like
be
laying two films over top of each other to get the right scene.
yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
cool.
Otherwise, you might have like water shooting out of nowhere or or something. Yeah.
Did you see the water coming out of the wall?
Yeah. That was supposed to come out of his ear.
Pinky, put your finger in the hole.
Yeah.
I've never seen a tree cry quite like that.
Yeah.
A tree. Oh, okay.
I could see some mistakes with stuff like that. So
I could too, but I imagine they catching it on the editing room. But
you
I'm
hope.
just, I would hope. But it's like just the sheer amount of people and different elements to pull together for that is just mind blowing when you
Yeah.
actually think about it. I mean, not even when you're watching it, you're enjoying it, but when you actually, like from what you've told us tonight, when you put together what you've told us on just the animated ones, when you're adding the real life to it, it just,
Yeah.
Now, is it hard for you to actually watch the animations that you may have done? Do you because you worked
Um,
on it, or
it's it's kind of trippy. It's kind of freaky, but yeah. But I like it. It's like yeah, I animated that scene, and yeah, or I designed that character, and so yeah,
do you ever
because
find yourself
it's cool. It's
critiquing
cool and it's
your own
weird.
work?
Yeah, it's cool and weird at the same time. But yeah,
Do you ever find yourself kind of critiquing your own work, like, oh, I probably should have done that a little bit different, or
yeah,
you're just like, yeah, that's awesome.
I do that.
I I've taken a few video classes, and you really do critique your own work. And then, like I said, did the videos and the editings and college. And when you go to a movie, it's actually hard to watch any movie without seeing some of the mistakes now. And I hate to say it, but it is hard
Yeah, that's true.
because it's now embedded in your brain on how to do things.
Mhm.
So I can see how it would be kind of freaky to watch some of your own work because then you're, like you just said, you're also critiquing it at the same time.
Yeah,
Or you're seeing it from like different phases. Like this is when you first got out of school versus, you know, years later when you've been doing animation for a while. You're just like, oh, can I go back and change that?
yeah. I've had that feeling.
But still, the pride behind knowing that you did something that's going to be there forever. That kids like me, and I'm a big
Yeah,
kid, I own it. I mean, I've got Baby Yoda and Dobby behind me. I mean, I'm a kid, I own that. So stuff that that we hold dear,
Hmm.
and
yeah.
that's close to our hearts, and the fact that you worked on that's got to give you a huge sense of pride.
Thank you. Yeah, it was
I
fun.
agree
So yeah,
So
I'm
because
thank you
glad. I'm
for
glad
doing
to
what you
kind of.
do.
You're welcome.
it's something that will last forever.
hmm It's kind of like
Yeah,
being an author. It's like our work is going to be out there forever, and in this case, not it's yours is more public.
yeah,
It's out there, so it's
yeah,
like like the characters you were naming, and it's like, oh, I forgot about it until you name those people off, and I'm like, holy cow. No, that's like embedded in my brain, and there's tons of kids who are like that, and now who are adults who are like that.
yeah. It's true. Yeah. Um. Yeah. It's. I have a lot of pride. I mean, yeah, it makes me happy that I worked on all that stuff.
hmm
Um. Take a lot of pride in it. So yeah, and yeah, it is really cool that it's going to be around forever. So
Thank
it's
you
just.
for doing what you did because you brought joy to my heart as a child
You're welcome.
and
Yeah,
now, but
and you're still bringing it to
I'm
people.
still,
That's the other
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
hmm
But
Yeah.
we are coming up on the end of our time tonight. Wanted to thank you for being on our show and to let everyone know we will be at Chaotic Freedom Celebration, June
Comic Con.
25th and 26th.
hmm
And I will be at, I'm probably going to butcher it now, Kimo Kauai
I
on
think you're right.
June 4th and 5th. So if you see me there, say hi. I think Mombi Rella is going to be there also,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not
Cool.
mistaken. So we will be in Conroe on the 4th and 5th, and then the 25th and 26th in Lake Jackson.
hmm
And then
You're
got
doing
media
Comic Palooza.
got media for Comic Palooza. Is that the 14th? That's the 15th, 16th, and 17th.
I think. I'm off until the end of August for Comic Conroe because of an unfortunate
Hmm.
incident, but
Yeah.
And then, of course, Anime Houston, and
hmm
then
Bell
Comic
County,
Conroe. I
Bell
won't be
County.
at Bell. I won't
No,
be at
he
Bell.
will.
He will.
And I think that Davy Jones does that one too, doesn't he?
Yes, Davy Jones is big
And I
with Bell
know that
County.
the Star Trek Pathfinder crew will be there, so they've already said that. So there's just a lot of Comic Cons going on, so make sure you catch it. But for those who want to contact Mr. Greg Peters, who will be at those particular Comic Cons for a potential commission, make sure to look him up on Facebook at Greg Peters, and you will see his smiling face holding up a sign, and you'll see the Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain in the pictures, and you know you found the right guy.
Yeah.
Definitely. And everyone, thank y'all for being on the show tonight. And we will catch you first. Make sure you have a wonderful and safe Memorial Day
Yes.
weekend. That's the big thing. Make sure it's safe.
hmm Take some time to remember those who have gone before us, who have, that's why we have the freedoms that we have today.
Yes. And we will catch you the Tuesday after at 11 a.m. And
Yes.
until then, We will
Bye.
catch you next time. Adios.